by itself without any guidance, then it is an unsupervised learning. Supervised is the teacher is there, the teacher is teaching me, and using that teacher training technique I am learning. So this is a labeled. We have the labeled classification. Now I give that same example. I have that Prayagraj image. What I'm doing, I'm defining, okay, this if this profile is there, spectrum profile, this is river. If this is there, this is soil. This is there, this is land. So I'm telling the machine, okay, if you find this things, these are the different classes. So this is supervised learning. It's a learning in which we teach or train the machine using data which is well labeled. Now it's clear, supervised and unsupervised. Hope I make you a little bit clear. Okay. So how does the supervised classification does? I have already told you. We have one pixel image. We defined it. Okay, this will be water, this will be sand, this will be forest, urbanization, kaun hai. We are training the machine. And then we are going the classification. Let me move on to that. We have seen that. Okay. I have given that example. I can repeat it itself. So this is an supervised classification method techniques in which I am telling you, okay, if you find this, give it a vegetation. If you find this, give it a urban. If you find this area, give a water. I am telling the machine. So this will be supervised or unsupervised? Anybody? I am telling the machine, okay, if you find this pixel, this will be vegetation. This will be which supervised. Perfect, perfect. I'm telling the labeling the data sets. So it will be supervised classification. Here what I have given the machine only the images. I'm not defined the classes like this. I haven't defined the classes. I'm only given the images to the machine, and machine has only distinguished the different things by itself. So it's an unsupervised classification technique. So in NV, we have different supervised and unsupervised classification. Supervised, we have parallelopiped, Manhattan distance, maximum likelihood, spectral angle mapper, neural network, SVM. So the widely used is the SAM, SVM, and the neural net. In the NV unsupervised classification, we have k-means, isodata. We are going to perform these one or two or three of the classification. Let's move to the NV. Let's see what happened to the image. See, when we perform the radiometric calibration, you can see the difference. Let me show you. This was the old image. You can see the image which we have cropped. After radiometric calibration, you can see what is happening. And can anybody unmute yourself and tell me? This was the old image. When we applied the radio. Yes, sir.
Not showing.
NV is not showing.
Slide is showing.
Oh, slide I think it is more enhanced, ma'am.
Yes, sir. More enhanced. You were able to see, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm able to see.
Okay. Now you are able to see, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was the previous image. Before radiometric calibration and after radio calibration, it was like this. So you can see that sir told us that it had been enhanced. Now, if I want to study this image, the pixels are less brighter. The study cannot be more proper. But if after radiometric calibration, we can see the image is more enhanced. We can study it more. Same at we have the flash atmospheric corrections. Here you can apply the atmospheric correction and it will be more enhanced. I'm not doing it because it takes 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to perform the classification on this. Okay. For classification, I'm writing. This is our image. I'm taking classification. You can see if I classification workflow is there. Here this pop-up is there, classification. it is asking for input the raster file, means input the image. I will be giving that radio dat because this is my enhanced image. I am providing this image as an input. Clear? Till here it's clear. Then I'm moving on next. Anybody from your group can tell me if I go for no training data, it will be supervised or unsupervised? If I'm not providing any training data.
Which data, ma'am?
Means I'm not training the machine. I have given the image and here it is no training data and use training data. It means in no training data I'm not going to train the machine. Yes?
I think it is unsupervised.
Unsupervised.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
It is a supervised, ma'am.
Supervised?
Ma'am,
I'm not providing a training data set.
But can't it take default data, ma'am?
Actually, we are taking this input is given, but I'm not defining any spectral values to anything.
Okay.
Like I will show in the presentation. The presentation is visible. I'm giving the images and I'm not providing any training data. The output is like this. The same thing I'm going to perform on that. If I'm giving the images and I'm providing a training data, then it is supervised.
Then what Ashish sir mentioned is right, ma'am.
It's an unsupervised classification if I provide no training data. Let us do this. So it's asking for me how many classes you want. In how many classes should it classify? So if I write 5 only, or you can change it if you want more classes. Next. It's running unsupervised classification. It is showing that. One option I missed to show you in the advanced portion. Let me move in after processing that I can go back. Okay, let me have back button. See, here I have the maximum iteration and change threshold. So we can do the maximum iteration. Okay, what it will do, it will pick the pixel, it will match a pixel. Then again it iterate it, match a pixel. Iteration by iteration it mapped it and give me into the 5 classes. Let me provide it next. You can see we have the smoothing option. After the image is like this, I can smooth that image by doing this. Let me perform this. This is the cleanup. We are providing the refining of the result. Now let me finish it. See, this is the classification which is done. It is in the 5 classes. It has done automatically. What it has done, it has shown the red sign is telling what? Anybody? The red color. River means water. Wherever it is sensing water, it is showing us red. In the blue, it might be in land surface. In the green, it will be in terrestrial. It's a area where there are trees. In the yellow, it is the sand surface. Means I have practically visited that site. That's why I'm able to tell it. Okay, this area is that, this area is that, this area is that. This was the unsupervised. I didn't tell the machine, okay, this is river, this is what. If I train the machine, let me train my machine. I'm taking the radio dat file. Now I'm going to train the data. Okay, I'm going to provide the data. Next. So what I will do, move it aside. I'm providing, okay, if you clear this, if you see these pixels, okay, if you see these pixels, except this will be Yamuna. Okay, this will be a Yamuna. I think this is Yamuna only. Clear this. Hanji. Okay. New class I am creating. Where my pointer has gone. Wait a second. If you see this, it's not, pointer is not coming. Let me restart it. Let me restart this. I'm taking that same image. I'm going to use the training data. For the class 1, what I have done, if you find this spectra, right click accept. This is Yamuna. If you find these spectra, accept it and name it Ganga. See, in this I have not maximizing it, so it can be some of the solid contents, means like rock content is also coming.
Ma'am, whatever the class colors you are mentioning, is it a RGB pattern, ma'am?
No, this one.
The class colors which you mentioned, no?
The class colors I can change in this. These are the RGB colors only.
RGB. That is why when red is in 255, it is showing as red in the solid color, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Sir.
okay, ma'am. Okay.
Ganga, I think. Let me do this again. It was Yamuna, and I haven't saved that. Okay. I will. The blue color is Yamuna, and if I accept this, this is class 3. If I apply this, this is the land area. Land. I think in this I haven't defined any region. That's why it's saying there is no region. Except in Yamuna we have 2 regions. Delete class. Here I'm taking it again. It's just for the key. I'm defining the class. I'm training the machine. Okay. Next, like this. This is urbanization. You can see, na? Everyone can see there are houses in there. So I'm defining this. If you find this like this is urbanization. Urban. And if you find like this is the sandy area. Here I'm creating a new class. This is except this is sand. I have defined this into the 5 class. Okay, I have defined this. I have trained the data. On the basis of my pixel value which I have given, now it's going to train the machine. Let us see. Okay, algorithm I have not shown you. Let me show the algorithm also. Let me show the algorithm. And the open, let me delete the class and create a new class. Defining the smaller region. I've taken a much bigger region, that was showing everywhere yellow. Okay. In the algorithm, there are different algorithms you can see. Maximum likelihood, minimum distance, Manhattan distance, and spectral angle map. So you can apply any of that. If you want the spectral angle, if you want to define it, you can define it. What are the spectral angle and what we will be talking about in higher pace only. So I have select the any of the algorithm you can use. I'm using the spectral angle mapper. Performing the next. You can see it's calculating and running the spectral angle mapper classification. That is a supervised classification. You can again enable the smoothing surfaces. So I haven't given it a very accurate information. So let us see what it will be showing. I haven't saved that. It's like this. No, I have not created this. Okay, I think the new file which I have created is not being there. Okay. Oh, I haven't saved that file. And I cannot see it without saving. I cannot see it. Let me do it in the faster mode. You can see it once again. Let me give a smaller one. Only two classes I can provide it. New classes. I'm giving only 3 classes. I'm providing with the algorithm like spectral angle mapper. Next, I have click on cancelled rather than I am clicking on the finish button. I click on the this. You can see I have only provided only 3 classes. So it will be classified only into 3 classes because I have given only 3 classes. And I have to give on the finish button. I clicked on the cancel button. That's why it was exhausted, which I have given. I'm able to write a file. Okay, the file name already existed. Chalo koi nahi. You can see it from here. I have defined only 3 classes. The blue color is the urbanization, where you found the water, the Yamuna river. It's like I have given the Yamuna pixel. It was in the red, and the green there was the Ganga. So we can see at the here also the Ganga water is more than. When you go physically visit that, the Ganga water is more as compared to Yamuna, and you can clearly distinguish the colors also. The Yamuna water is in different greenish color, and the Yamuna water is greenish color, and the Ganga water is pure. It's like we can see as a water color. So hope this classification is clear. As much classes you will make, the classification will be more clear. As much as what I have done, I will like you share that also. What we have done. If I have it in my folder. I have the image of spectral map. I think so. This was the thing which I have done before. There are different parameters to analyze the quality of water. Total suspended solids, turbidity, total phosphorus, CDOM, chlorophyll. We have worked on 5 parameters, and you can see this river region. This river region is the same of this. Let me close this. I'm not going to save it. I'm removing this all. I'm showing you from which we have studied. This is the region. This is the region of Ganga from where this image map has been came out. So in TSS, we have taken the ground truth sampling of that. How much TSS is that? Then we have applied this classification on NV. Okay, if we are having this data point, you can put the latitude and longitude point in this NV. At this longitude and latitude, we will having this turbidity value. So after that, using the spectral angle mapper only, I have made this map. You can see it's visible to everyone. For total phosphorus, it was like that. For CDOM, it was like that. For chlorophyll, it was like that. So it's just a glimpse of that. Moving on to the slides. Hope my slide is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So in the supervised and unsupervised, everyone has told me different key points of that, and it was quite clear. We have in this unsupervised, previous knowledge is not required, but in supervised that I have showed, I have given the ground truth data, I have given the GPS location information. Then I was able to do the supervised classification. So in unsupervised, the number of classes is critical. It depends on 5, 6. It depends on what are you giving the number of classes. But in supervised, we defined, okay, this areas are there. Results are objective. Result depend on selected training areas. How good you train your machine, the result, the last outcome will be like that. If I train the machine with 3 classes, you see that how everywhere it was blue, means everywhere it was land area, and where there was water, it was showing like this. So it depends on this. So in unsupervised, accuracy is not too much because it's classifying by the machine itself. We are not going to train it. But in supervised, the accuracy is more. So there are the different classification approaches we are going to talk it about. Let me one of this. Hope I'm not telling you too much. It's going to bounce it. It's a new area. Everyone can resemble it. So I'm taking it low only. Suppose what we do in classification, if we have 1 pixel values like accumulated here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here, some new data points arrive. So how we can classify it will be lying in this region or it will be lying in this region. There are different approach for that. Let me talk about that approaches. ओके चलो एक और आपको क्लस्टरिंग टेक्निक्स भी बता देती हूँ. दैट इज अनसुपरवाइज्ड क्लासिफिकेशन टेक्निक ही बोलते हैं इसमें. वैसे जनरली हम इसको क्लस्टरिंग बोलते हैं, बट इसमें जो एनवी में है इसमें केवल क्लासिफिकेशन ही बोलते हैं. ठीक, तो व्हाट इज दिस? इज डिवाइडिंग द डेटा सेट्स इनटू ग्रुप. जैसे मैंने कहा ना, ये न्यू डेटा, इफ दिस न्यू डेटा पॉइंट्स विल अराइव, देन इट विल बी डिस्टिंग्विश इन दिस एरिया रीजन और इट विल बी लाइंग इन दिस रीजन. सो what it does, the same group are assigned in one region and another same regions are assigned in one region. As an example, when we go on to have a lunch with the family, so a family which we are known, a single family or the members of 8 are going, so they sit on one table and another known family sit on another table. So these are the different groups. Or we go into the shopping mall, we can see that here you can see that the different oranges or apples are being aligned in one region. So different groups are there. So in the same way, different let me have this only. Okay, this question is for you all. If I am an engineer and civil engineer and I want to have a school location in this map, so how many schools should I plan? How many schools should I open? Any idea? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many minimum schools should I open so that each and every student can get to the nearest school? Any idea? Any idea? Come on. One, two, three, you can guess it. This is only guessing. It's not like that you will get the accurate answers also.
Ma'am, can you repeat the question again, please?
This is the region. I want to plant the school.
Okay.
So how many minimum number of schools should I plant so that every students from different regions can come to the school?
Any guess of number of students or number of locations? Any
number of locations you can see. The different locations are there.
Okay.
This new map.
Yes. So this is indicating number of locations.
Madam, can it be 3?
It's
I'm also doing 3, ma'am.
Okay. 3.
I'm putting 5, ma'am. I'm putting 5. 5.
Okay. Anybody else?
There are 3 clusters.
3 clusters. Minimum. I was talking about minimum. Maximum can be 5. Here we can have 3, so that the people lying in this region can also come to the school easily they don't have to travel too much. There are different clusters. So here we have a k-means algorithm in NV also, and in generalized term, if we talk about the data classification, we have k-means algorithm. Then how it works, we have the number of clusters, means number of class. Here if we talk about the classes, there will be number of classes. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, as much as you define. So the number of clusters is equal to k is equal to 3. So how we seems that, okay, these are the data points. It will divide the red portion like this, blue portion is like this, green portion is like this. But it's not exactly. What it do? It calculate the minimum distance. If this is red region, this is blue, this is green. So from this data points, if I calculate it, so the minimum, so it will be red. So if I calculate the minimum distance from each, so our data will look like this after first iteration. We were expecting, okay, these are dots, so these will be red, this will be blue, and this will be green. Not at all, exactly it is. It is like this. It calculate the minimum distance. Euclidean distance. Okay, Euclidean distance. Everyone knows that it's a simple Pythagoras theorem applied. It's like if this is hypotenuse, then L square plus B square. Here we also have the k-means classification. Let me show you. Let me type the k-means. You can see the here it will be not in the time words of clustering. It will be in the means of classification. I am providing that radiometric dat file only. Number of classes it is asking for. We can define, give the number of classes here. And we can choose the location from which we want to save it. Let me name it k-means only. So it will automatically distinguish into 3 classes because I defined 3 classes: class 1, class 2, class 3. The water area, it's up to you what you assume the classes are. Or it's best if we do the classification with more number of classes, then it will be more clear. See, now it's more clear. It distinguish different pixels into different classes. So there are 2 unsupervised classification. Here we have the k-means classification and the isodata classification. You can see. So nothing new in that. In isodata, it automatically take the number of classes by itself. In k-means, we have to define the classes as we have defined 5, 6 now. In isodata, it takes automatically number of classes as per as the machine choices. Let me perform this. Also, if it's there, let me see. It's suggesting that you give us a range in which number of classes you want to define. In k-means classification, we have to give a particular number, but in here we have to give the particular range of the numbers. Let me define, okay, classify into 5 to 10 number of classes. It's up to the system how many classes it takes. Let me take isodata. Okay. It's like it has taken the 7 number of classes. So it depends on the machine on the isodata ki how much classes it takes. In k-means, we define the number of classes. This is the basic difference between the k-means and the isodata classification in NV. That I have already shown you in this here also. Euclidean distance, we have seen a different algorithm was there. Euclidean, maximum likelihood, spectral angle mapper. In the last 5-10 minutes, let me have a quick how this algorithm works. Not in the deep, but as an enhance. Then I can have the query session from you all. In the Euclidean distance, we have some new point is there. We calculate the Euclidean distance from that point to next cluster. In maximum likelihood, if I have the probability density function like this, and I having a 2 class, if some new data point arises, then how I will classify it? I will plot the probability distance function and see that it lies on which points. It lies on the class A. So class B, we will be putting that data sets into class B. Then here we will be seeing the probability density. What is probability density? You can see it's a mathematical terms. We are not going into the mathematical theory of this. So here directly you can also calculate the maximum likelihood. Let me show you how. See, maximum likelihood classification. You can provide it radiodac, and you can see same procedure. You can do it like this also, or you can go at it like classification workflow. And you can do it from here also. I have shown it before also. Here was the algorithms. You can do it from here also. 2 ways are there. If I talk about the NV Classic, you can do it from there also. It's your ease and comfort from where you want to perform the different classifications. Let me open this. Here you can see the classifications in NV Classic in the upper wise. It's visible to everyone. This. Can anybody respond? It is. You can see the supervised and unsupervised classification.
Yes, madam.
Okay. So there are different classification technique. You can see it from here also. It's more clear. The supervised we have this much. In the unsupervised we have isodata and k-means. We can build a decision tree also. So these are the different classification techniques. So minimum distance classification, in which we find the Euclidean distance from each unknown pixel to the mean vector of each classes. In Mann-Hobbes distance classification, you can see what is the theory behind that. We can calculate the different stats for each class, and using the maximum likelihood classifications, we see the class covariance. If they are equal, we put it into that by pixel calculation is there. So these are the different classification methods, and what are the rules? You can see in the spectral angle mapper, the spectral angles is in radians, and we see how much close two spectra are making an angle. In binary encoding, we see the binary match. In Mann-Hobbes distance, we see the class means distance. In maximum likelihood, we see the probability of pixel belonging to the class. We have seen we have the probability density function, and in which data sets it belongs into which class. In the minimum distance, the sum of the distance from the class means. These are the different background of the classification methods. I will be sharing these whole slides. You can go through it. If you have any query, you can get in touch with me. This is a spectral angle mapper. I have already told that see how much angle it makes to match the pixel to reference spectra. Let me show you this. With these we have here the pixels, we have the spectrum. It will see the minimum angle, accessing the angle difference between the pixel and the reference spectrum. These are the formulas by which it calculates the angle. Advantages: fast and easy approach hai. It's a comprehensible for the user, and its compatibility of image spectra with lab spectra. It's very easy to distinguish. But disadvantages: if illumination is not proper, then it will be having some deteriorating images. We have the SVM also. SVM classification is also there. So different calculation points are also there. So in SVM classification, how it does, it creates an hyperplane between different pixels. It maximizes the distance between the classes and use an hyperplane classification. The advantages and disadvantages I have mentioned in the slide, you can go through it afterwards, because after studying from morning till evening, you are also being tired, I know that, and to learn new things, it's another task for you as a teacher. So we have the post classification cleanup also. We have seen also after classification, we have done the cleanup. So the image pixels are more clear and more clean, we can see. We can practically see all these classifications. We can create the confusion matrix also by writing here the confusion matrix. Can anybody tell me, anybody have an idea what is confusion matrix? It's asking for using grounded image. I right now don't have any grounded image, so I think it will be not taking it. Yes. So if I want to create a confusion matrix, it will be like accuracy matrix. Okay, this much was predicted accurately, this was predicted wrong. True prediction, false prediction is there in the confusion matrix. Okay, this was your accuracy of prediction. This was the true prediction, and this was the false prediction. It comes like that. So I will be sharing my drive link also in the slide like this. You can get it the NV software, the data sets link I will be also sharing, and plus my presentation also, and that drive link only. So these are the references. If you want to study more, you can go it. We have the harrisgeospatial.com site, in which each and every classification techniques is mentioned in very elaborative manner. So thank you everyone. Any queries?
Ma'am, I have a small query, ma'am.
Yes,
Usually we call two types of graphs. We call it as sorry, not graphics. One is a raster graphics. The second one is a vector graphics.
Yes, sir.
So whatever you mentioned here, the support vector machine, is it used to create vector graphics? You mean to say that?
So it's like it's here, that vector is not connected with this. This is support vector machine. It means it's one of the classification technique. How it does, it's a way of training the machine how to classify it, as we have done with the k-means ISO data with the maximum likelihood. The same is this support vector machines in computer science. We have that. It's not like that vector.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Anybody else?
Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. I have eagerness that after seeing the enhancement image of BIL from that, which type of enhancement technique is used?
Enhancement technique, sir.
Yes.
So when we have performed, it was smoothing kernel. It was there.
Okay.
So you were talking about after the classification, na?
Yes, ma'am. No, BIL. We can use BIL.
So I'm not getting your voice properly. That's fine.
Hello.
You are talking about after the classification, how we can smoothen the image?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
That is post classification smoothing image. Hope you have seen when we have performed the classification, there was if I do it in the quick manner, I can show you with the no training only I'm doing.
Hello.
One second, I'm going to show you.
This image, ma'am, it's so enhanced. So I think which enhancement method is used here actually?
See, here you can see, sir, the clean up this pop up.
Yes, ma'am.
Here it's like smoothing effect, aggregation effect. What it do, you can see the here the smoothing it not properly. When we are putting it enable smoothing, what it do, it use the smoothing techniques, different image processing techniques, and it apply on this. That's why after if I put it in next and finished it, you can see that the see here, see the image likely how it's looking like. And after smoothing, you can see the pixel are in a flatter scale. You can see, sir. This was the before images, this was the clean images. The rest of the pixels which are not uh, classified properly, that have been removed. These are the smoothing techniques.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Actually, I think that is there used any filter, that is vinyl filter or Gaussian filter in digital image
Yes, sir,
processing
Laplacian
method?
filter and filters. In the background that has been used. Yes, sir, you were correct.
Yes, Laplacian filter, no? Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? Let me stop my screen share. A question was there that I don't remember who have done this. The infrared question was there. So you have quoted the sphere, the long infrared. These are the infrared parts only. We divide the different bands into different regions. That is near infrared, short infrared, long infrared, mid wavelength infrared. So I want to tell everyone that we do the classification of infrared as a sir has told that we have done in the visible red region, blue region, green region. So where here we have the near infrared rays, the short, that is called the then after near it comes the short wave, then comes the mid wavelength, and at the last it is long wavelength. Any more queries? Anybody? Hope you enjoyed the session. Something new was there.
No queries. So it is very nice session. It's really nice session, and personally I feel I learned a lot of things, but I was not aware of that kind of data can be analyzed and all those things. Thank you so much, madam, for the
Thank you, sir,
nice
for
talk.
inviting me and giving me the opportunity to interact with you and with the so brilliant audience. I think it's for very participating audience. I enjoyed a lot.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So with your permission, now I am going to formally close the session.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, participants.